Welcome back, everybody, to the Shit I Shouldn't Say podcast. It's your boy Leo Bishop in the building. The gang's all here. We got Chris Caine in the building, of course.
What up?
We got Sleep in the building.
I'm in here like every year.
We got the illustrious producer, Jerry Saylor, in the building.
What's up?
All right, so today, we got a good one for y'all. We're going to be talking about
Gayness.
parenting and gayness.
Parenting while gay.
Wow, gay. So, hit him.
All right, listen, first of all, we going to preface this here. Ain't nobody got no problems with gay people.
Not at all.
Yeah, let's make that clear.
I want to make this clear because you might hear some things that you don't like. Don't get butt hurt, no pun intended. I'm just saying, we ain't got no issues with gay people. That is just a conversation that needs to be had. And I had it on my social media account a couple of days ago. And me and some wild nigga, we went at it for hours. And he was saying how it's not natural for gay people basically to exist because they cannot reproduce.
Damn.
And clearly for him, reproduction was the bar on if it's natural or not. My thesis on the situation was the definition of natural. If it occurs in nature naturally, then it's natural. And because homosexuality occurs in 1,500 species on the planet, that makes it natural because it occurs in nature and it's not a construct of human beings. That decides if something is natural, if humans created it. And we did not create gay. Gay been around since the beginning of time. And like I said, it does occur in 1,500 different species.
Right.
So the issue here that we're all having is some people don't feel comfortable with, say, gay men raising kids. Why do y'all think that is? What is it about two men together really turns people off as far as raising kids?
I believe it's a huge phobia. First off, and whoever you was talking to, for him to say they don't need to exist is pretty harsh.
Oh, he said they're not. Yeah, he said they're not. He said they're not natural. It's not natural.
What are
and
they, aliens? What the fuck is this?
I don't know.
That's pretty fucking extreme.
Yeah, I thought so
like
as well.
Said, if it's women, people don't care. I mean, it's just it's a double standard. Obviously, I think it's a thing just with men. With men, I don't have a problem with it. It don't affect my life, so I'm not gonna go so hard to feel like you don't exist.
But what about your kids though? Because that was a not just him. That was a point of other people. Your kids have to live in a society where a lot of gay men are.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
What if you're taking your kid to get ice cream and then y'all there and two men are licking on the same ice cream, two grown men, and your son's like, "What they doing, Dad?" Would that bother you a little bit?
I mean, I can't.
Because now you got to control. Now you got to answer that. Now you got to speak to that.
Sometimes, I understand why somebody would be bothered. You might not be ready to have that conversation.
But I don't want my kids seeing a man and woman.
Right. I was about to say that it's no different if you see people making out. Period. It might cause your kid to start asking sexual related questions.
That's life.
Period.
That's life. You can't shield your child from exposure. There's so many other things to be worried about. I mean, we live in a world where we worry about two gay people. I'm more worried about could this person be could there be somebody in the same park watching my kids?
While y'all was worried about that, I was worried about how I was gonna feed my kids.
Right. It's because we
got killers out here. We got things that really affect your life that could actually be something that could hurt you. Two people caring about each other that don't pertain to my life doesn't matter. And my kids see something, they're gonna see stuff all the time. Right. What if in that same park some dude there, he got a gun in his back pocket, he not using it, but he bend over and he got a gun, and my son like, oh, what's that? He exposed to a gun. What the? I mean, that's
he got the blicky.
I mean, so I got to explain that. I mean,
you condition though to see every little aspect about it. So,
but and also hold on real quick. Also, if he did see two gay guys kissing, what is that supposed to mean? Is that supposed to turn my son gay because he sees it? Is that what people scared of?
I mean, some people think it's that simple. Obviously it's not.
I mean, because that would be the only reason why you would care. If you're having your child see something that you don't want them to see would mean that you think that your child's going to do that or be exposed to it, meaning that means
a lot of times we have these conversations, we speaking in like general, but a lot of people the person that might have an opposing view may be speaking on one instance.
Right.
So to backtrack a little bit, you said initially like can be made gay or whatever. Like some people have been made gay in some ways,
and that's usually traumatic though, correct?
Right. Somebody could be like, I've known men to say this even in public on like TV, certain celebrities or whatnot. They would be molested or whatnot by another male, and then they would be like introduced into that lifestyle or that way of thinking as a child. They doing it and don't even understand it. So they might like something and not even understand what it means.
And I can agree with that. A certain amount of trauma can change your brain, and we know that from war and all types of stuff. But this is more so in line with seeing it.
Right.
Can just simply seeing two men together make you attracted to men?
I think
That's
so.
not. Well,
No.
hold on. Before you answer that,
That's crazy.
having heterosexual parents, that should automatically make you heterosexual.
I don't think it's an automatic thing
But,
either
but,
way.
but it seemed like the argument is only on the basis of if a kid who would otherwise be heterosexual see two gay men, he could be made gay.
Right.
But how come it don't work the other way around?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
A kid that was, say, born gay, because we all admit that, some of these little boys is gay the second they come out the vagina. They just been that way. So say a boy that was born gay, what if he see heterosexual parents? Can he turn heterosexual? It seemed like it only worked the other way around. It don't,
Honestly, it probably don't.
a gay
work.
person can't be turned heterosexual,
kinda
but a
hard.
heterosexual person can be turned gay.
I don't know.
I get the-
Honestly, I disagree with that. I'm sorry. I'm tangling myself.
Well,
up with
goddamn
the
it,
cord.
make your case.
Let me tell you this, because there's plenty of people. I might not I don't know, make you completely is a hard thing to say, but look at it like this. It's plenty gay people that don't come out.
Right.
And they don't allow
Most
themselves to be gay. It's mass gay people in straight relationships and don't mess with people of the same sex, even though that's all they probably want to do.
Right.
So the social norms and pressure or whatnot, in a sense, is making them live as if they were straight, even though they may be gay.
Right.
So in a way, you can say that's possible. You know, it might not be mentally, but based on their actions, you would say they were straight because they only messing with straight
Well,
people.
they're not really straight. They got to live a lie because society won't accept them for who they are. But I get what the theory is. People
Right,
just
but that's
basically
still
saying
in a
if you're-
sense making them that way, because
still-
if
no, but
society
they-
didn't
deep down
have that
inside,
pressure
like,
and
you
all
can
that
hide
shit, then they
whatever you
wouldn't
want.
have that.
But they are who
They're
they
gay.
are.
I mean, you
just
can
not
hide
showing
whatever
it.
you want.
Right, but your actions dictate who you are on some level.
No.
You can mask your actions.
Wow, come
Dude,
on,
man, it's like
Wow.
it's the
You can act tough all
Right.
you want if inside you soft as fuck and you can't bust a grape. You still a sucker, but you could get out here all rah like the.
But if I'm actually physically harming people while I'm acting tougher than what
But
I
you know
really
you
am,
deep
I'm
inside.
but you
still.
wouldn't be because
Right.
you a sucker.
You just put on an
There's
image.
plenty hoe ass niggas deboing sunning people that's
they're
like
appearing to-
smaller than them.
They're
You know
picky.
what I'm
They're
saying?
selective. They know what to do. But I mean,
Right.
you can't lie to yourself. You can try to. You can convince everybody else, but you know your true you. I mean, I get the theory.
On some
Hold
level.
up. But what do y'all think about this? Real quick, I'm sorry to cut y'all off, but Aaron J said on our social media, he said that's like saying something along the lines of, can two black parents raise a kid? Because, at some point, that's been an issue. It was once said that we weren't natural. It was once said that interracial dating weren't natural. And then here we are, not even just us as black people, but it seemed like gay people are having to defend their right to be human beings.
That's always been like something that I've always looked
Because
at.
at one
It's
point
right,
it was us.
Well, I've always looked at that as a parallel in some ways, because that's why I always get mad when I see black people either shaming.
It's like X-Men,
right,
ain't
right.
it?
When black people get mad about gay relationships, I'm like, gay people deal with the same struggles black people do in interracial relationships and stuff. It's kind of similar, whether we want to admit it or not. But I mean, I don't understand what the theory
You
is.
can't choose to be black.
Right. I mean, just like, and I feel the same way
There's
about,
always that.
right. Well, and I
But you
feel,
can't choose to be gay.
Exactly. I think that's the problem.
Some people do.
It's
That's
a,
how I see. Once again, that's how a lot of people
Right.
believe that it's just a simple choice.
It's
But
not.
I don't believe anybody would make that choice. There's like you said, our society is not a place where you would want to choose that.
Okay,
Hold
I
on.
disagree only to a small extent.
What straight man is choosing to suck dick
let me
when
tell
he
you-
can get pussy?
let me
Why
tell
would you
this.
choose that?
I don't think it's like a straight man. Like, I'm a grown ass man, and now I just had the thought for the first time. I don't think it worked.
I think
that
I'm
way.
gonna suck a dick.
Obviously, it has been some shit that been brewing for a pretty long time. What I was about to say is that
Homebrew.
you have people that. You see kids that watch certain behaviors, and they, like, for example, you see kids that grow up around thugs, right? And then they grow up and want to be a
get
thug.
the theory.
So how can you
I get the
completely
theory.
say that if you see a lot of stuff happening around you that it don't affect your way of life and how you think? Because
that's
it's,
just life
it's
in
cultural
general.
imprint.
That's life in general.
You know?
If you're around something enough, you would tend to adopt some of it.
So how can you say that don't apply to this
but
at
I mean,
all?
But that just goes with everything. Life is about choices. I mean, you can grow up in a very bad environment and be around all the time, and you can either choose to go left or go right. Some things are choices, and I believe that if you that's like, you can use it for yourself. If you grew up in the home that you did, and let's say you did grow up around like somebody who was gay all the time, but and you see it all the time. You either know you like pussy or you know you like dick. Like, it doesn't matter how much you around it. You could be around a bunch of killers and murderers your whole life.
Right.
You can know to yourself, like, I'm not a killer or a murderer. I'm associated with killers and murderers, but I'm just not that.
Right.
So that's why I say, like, it can affect to an extent, but you know you. Like, especially when it comes to your sexuality, that's just That's hard to
natural.
That's hard to just tell yourself because I'm around it. I do it. You either like women or you like men. Right. I mean, that's not something that
that whole thing. What you're saying right there.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily a you either type of thing.
I know
because there's plenty of people that like it all.
Listen, dude, I look at it like this.
So it's not.
You could put one woman, like say they did a theory. You put me around one woman and then put me around a bunch of men, and you have me around them for 10 years straight. And see what happens. I'm still gonna choose the woman. Like I'm not attracted
unless you're in prison.
Well, and that's a circumstance where it's gonna be. I'm just saying like.
And then the booty is the booty.
Right, because I mean you just know what
about
you like.
that? So you think?
Hold on. Let me jump on something real quick. Keep that though. Keep that in the chamber.
Sure.
All right. So somebody on our social media, boss lady said, "I don't condone in the devil's work.
See
who get used to their asshole getting fucked." This is what she said. So. We also have to talk about the religious aspect of the gayness.
Do we?
Because and it's a big thing in the black community, which is so fucking annoying to me. Yeah. Because if you were still in Africa, you wouldn't believe in that goddamn Bible. You wouldn't believe in a whole lot of dumb shit. Black motherfuckers is like the biggest fucking cheer. Hold on. Let me finish. It's the biggest cheerleaders for this fucking Judaism, Christian bullshit, and all this stuff. Like, listen, first of all, you got to understand a little bit about history and research. In the days of Jesus Christ, in that time, he would have likely, if he was a real person, which he wasn't.
He's the alleged.
Right, he's not a historical figure, but whatever. If he was a person back in that time, he would have likely been a homosexual because most people back in those days were homosexuals, and it was so widespread there wasn't even a fucking word for homosexual back in those days. That's how lit it was with homosexuality back in the days of Jesus Christ. Male sex slaves were more in demand than female sex slaves. It was even almost like a rite of passage for some boys to do that type of shit. Even back in the days when they would conquer whole fucking nations, they would rape the men. Like this is
it was a power thing.
Exactly, as a power thing. It had nothing to do with being gay because there was no word for gay back then. The whole gay idea is a fairly new thing in human history. You know, we've been around for what, 400,000 years or so, give or take. You can add or drop down a little bit, but we've been around for a long time. This whole gay idea of homosexuality, this is a newer thing. And if we going back 4,000 to 5,000 years of the Bible time, there was no word for it.
I disagree. I could have sworn in the Bible it spoke on homosexuality being immoral and unclean and
the Bible is man
shit like that.
And that's based on when that was put in the Bible. Right. Because you do understand that Satan wasn't in the Bible from the very beginning. A whole lot of shit was added. Christmas wasn't in the Bible. Fucking Easter, Passover, all that shit. A lot of that shit was added.
Christmas in the Bible now?
Well, no, December 25th shit. He wasn't even born on December 25th. It was made to correlate with a pagan holiday. Right. He wasn't even born on fucking December 25th. But a whole lot of shit was added after the fact. But if you do any research on historical shit back in those days, there was no word. A whole lot of words were added to the Bible that weren't like letters and shit. Certain letters weren't even out back in those days. There was no letter J back in the day. But as the years went on, you know, they've been adding shit to it and different stuff like that. But during the 4 to 5, say 6,000 years, there was no word for gay. So if we always want to bring things back to the religious aspect, you really got to look back at that time and see how they were doing things back in that time. And it was hella gay back then. Like
I disagree.
Overly gay.
I disagree. I don't really see. I don't agree with it being hella gay. You know, back then.
I don't think you've done any research on it.
What you mean? I've done plenty of research. I love history.
You know Alexander the Great, right? Back in those days.
Yeah.
Openly gay.
Right,
Hold on. He was the biggest and top tactician on the planet, conquering everybody. He was fucking everybody. His whole army was fucking everybody. Right. That's how widespread this shit was. Like. It was a thing, bro. It was super lit.
I'm not saying.
That's like us going to Iraq right now and just fucking all of the Iraqis all the time.
But that also doesn't mean that most of the people on the planet is doing it.
I think you don't. I think you don't want to believe that.
Just because I don't have any reason to believe that.
Well, you know what I think?
Because a few prominent people over time was doing that. Don't give me a reason to think that the majority of people.
Not prominent people. You can look back to that time and see that there was no word for it.
That's because it wasn't a big deal.
So if there wasn't a word,
I think it was just
because there wasn't a big deal.
It was just sex.
Now, wouldn't that also mean that it wasn't popping like that?
No, it's not that. I think people was having sex with men and women. It didn't matter. Like, and we didn't have a title to call it, so it was just like it's sex. Like,
I think when it come to this, it was always like a shame type thing. I feel like if people was doing it openly like that from back when, then it wouldn't be such a shameful act everywhere around the globe. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying. I don't think it's wrong. And I don't think
I hate that we even make it seem like it's a crime.
And the crazy thing about it is most of the people that create the laws, like I think you was talking about one time, like the politicians and shit that create the laws and be the main ones against homosexuality, is usually the ones that get caught up in a gay scandal and shit.
Right.
So I'm not saying that it wasn't happening, but as far as it being like well promoted and something that everybody just rocking with, I don't think. It's always some shit I think that the elite.
But what reason do you have to think that was not the case?
Because they always want to, but well, history, I just don't see any reason to show me that that's individuals.
But that's literally in history.
Well, think about it though.
That's a real thing. Like, it's a real thing that there was no word for that. It was a real thing that the top people, like, if we just want to go to the historical figures and we want to go to the whole sex slave thing and yada yada throughout these civilizations, that was a thing where they were literally lit fucking men and little boys all the time.
Right.
There's no adverse that says that was not happening.
Right.
So why would you believe that wasn't the case? Because there's nothing historically to say that wasn't the case.
I'm talking about I haven't seen anything that suggests that the everyday man was doing but I have seen
Are you talking about Africa? Is that what you want to get around?
No, not in I'm talking about period.
Because if we want to talk about that, we can get around to that.
No, it ain't even just that in general. It's period. Like, I haven't seen anything that suggests that the average individual was just rocking like that on a high level.
You would never know.
Well, of course. So how can you say
shame,
I would never know, but say you know at the same time? It can't be both. You know what I'm saying?
So what you saying is you think that gay was a construct of the elite, but regular people weren't doing it?
No,
because gay is gay.
I'm not saying
they gay, then other men would be gay.
What I'm saying is we have evidence to suggest that elite people was doing it, but we don't have enough evidence to suggest that the average man. Not talking about that it was happening. I'm talking about on a high scale. You talking about like it?
Don't you think that's because? Don't you think that's because? Look at how people act. Look at
now.
Right, people act.
We're more civilized now, and it's widespread. Right. So why would in a more uncivilized society now, it still wouldn't be?
Because this once again the shame thing. Shame was back then, at a higher rate.
It's worse
to me.
I mean, shame ain't even what they had to worry about back then. I mean, like, you know how extreme they was back then.
I feel like back then shame was everything.
You could have got killed.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's that go to my line that's saying that the average man. A lot of these people wasn't doing this shit just out of fear. Look at it now. People have the freedom and the right to do this in America more than ever. They still scared.
Hold on, but I spoke to that point, and that point was that it wasn't a law against it back then. There was not even a word for it back then, so they wouldn't have been afraid to do it because there was nothing in law in Jerusalem or that area during that time that said that gayness was an issue.
I don't know, because all the ancient religions, for the most part, spoke against that in some level, being immoral or whatnot. You can,
I think that's after the fact.
That's possible.
Yeah, because I mean, like if you go to the Torah or something like that, they're not mentioning homosexuality in there because it wasn't a thing.
Yeah, I don't
after the fact, now after we get to the Council of Nicaea and they start, actually making this thing a religion, then you start peppering in different things and these sins and different stuff like this to make people act accordingly. But those initial doctrines didn't say anything about homosexuality.
Now that I think about it more, I think the elite actually try to make the lower level people not engage in these type of acts, and they do try to keep it for themselves.
This is what I don't understand.
It do seem like that. I mean, how it was been, because think about it, they would also say like you couldn't have sex outside of your marriage. You couldn't have kids out of wedlock. You couldn't have basically side bitches and all this, that, and the third unless you married them all. But all these motherfuckers was doing the same thing. They had slaves. They was fucking them too. And they ain't talking about just in some American shit.
So they were trying to keep the fun to themselves. Is what it seemed like.
It do really seem like that though. Even now in America, politicians still doing it.
Why is people being gay such a big deal? I'm not gay at all.
Yeah, why is it a bad thing? That's what I want to know. Why is it a bad thing?
It's a fake moral thing.
But it's not your morals. Like, why do you care what two other people do? Why does it matter to people so much? People say stuff like it's not natural. It's not natural to you.
Exactly.
Why does it affect your life? It doesn't do anything.
You know what's natural
about this person? Hold on. Why is the whole gay thing? Why is it about sex to everybody?
It ain't even about that.
But when we think gay, that's what we all think about, is that two men are fucking or two women are fucking. When really Literally, the idea of being gay is that they're choosing to love the same gender.
Hold on.
That's
Hold on. Time out.
Why do we get so obsessed in the gay part?
So Tiffany on your page said because of religion. I thought the basis of religion and you getting right with God was your personal journey.
And acceptance.
If you right with yourself and God, why are you so worried about somebody else? That makes no sense.
How does it affect your journey?
If
and
you're
your personal
living your life by that book
right.
that you believe in and you're right with yourself, why do you feel so adamantly to care about what other people
because
do?
no book or anything you read or any feeling you get outside of yourself is going to change how you really feel.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But it's about you.
Exactly,
if it's about religion,
exactly,
if it's about religion
exactly.
and your basis of reading that book, that's your journey. You want to get to the gates. If somebody else don't want to get to the gates, that's fine. That's fine. Don't sway them into getting to the gates. That's their choice. Your job is to make sure your soul and whatever you feel, what you getting out of that book is yours. Why does what somebody else do, whether they kill, there's so much worse.
You know why?
Hold on. But the fact that we could put gayness in the same category of someone stealing, theft, killing, like they act like somebody's committing a crime to people's lives.
I can tell you why.
Tell
the
us.
reason why is this: the only natural part about this all is that we in competition with each other. That's one thing we can't help
what?
as
I ain't
humans.
competing
Like,
with nobody.
no,
What, for the gays?
No, not just being gay. I'm just talking about just period.
No, I mean for the gays, like having only taken a certain amount of niggas, so we need
Right,
to
like
beat.
it's
We
the
need
status
to
quo.
We need to beat down our brothers and sisters to get to the gates.
Even if heaven didn't exist, it's just a selfish.
It don't.
It's a
Go
selfish feeling. It's a selfish feeling that we all have to give each other from time to time to keep
what?
going. Like,
Why?
It's because we
I
flawed.
don't understand
Let me finish.
No,
we
I'm
flawed as people. You need to feel like you can't help it. And
Right.
when you little, you have brothers
Right.
or sisters or whatever you got. You naturally feel like you got to be better than them at shit. It's just a natural thing. It's part of survival.
Right.
But that shit get confused when you throw in a lot of cultural shit. So you feel the need to be better than me at basketball.
Right.
It don't really matter, but it give you that little
But
sense
listen, I got
of
a
gratification.
question for you in particular, Leo. And this is something that a guy on the post was saying. Do you believe that there is a agenda of the United States or the elite or whatever ruling powers to push a gay agenda on us? And if that is the case, why do you believe they would do that? Because that's something that I hear a lot of people say. Oh, this Illuminati gay shit. They want us all to be gay. I have no idea why they want us all to be gay.
It's hard to have this conversation because, like,
no, don't be scared now.
I'm not scared.
Okay.
What I'm finna say is that when you say something, people think like you believe it to the most extreme level or version of it. Now, I do believe.
Hold up, real quick. Real quick fact check. I want you to get back to that point. But somebody did the actual evidence on our social media, and that was Angie. The word homosexual didn't appear in the English Christian Bible until 1946. Extra new.
Damn.
All right, go ahead.
But go ahead.
Damn. What was I saying?
You said
I was asking about the agenda of maybe
okay.
the
I got
elite
you.
groups maybe wanting us to be gay for some reason.
Okay. I have seen things that suggest that the government or the country or whatever, YouTube, Facebook,
Right.
Google, the news,
All that shit.
I even seen the news talk about this type of stuff.
Right.
Everybody curious about it. I do think that it appeared that way because we seeing way more things promoting gayness. It may just be gay acceptance or.
Oh, I got your ass, nigga. Finish. When I'm about to rip you to pieces,
it might just be gay acceptance.
No pun intended. I got your ass.
Or whatever the case may be. I think part of it may be due to people being more accepting, like I was saying, and just wising up that these are just people, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
The world is becoming less religious at the same time, and at the same time, more gay people are coming out and are more comfortable with themselves. And
They
of
don't
course,
feel like they're gonna get stoned.
and of course, you're gonna fight for your right, however you personally feel. So all of that contributes to the promotion of you seeing that more. But at the same time, it do seem like it's more, honestly, I wouldn't say a more targeted attack towards black males when it comes to homosexuality. But when you really think about it, white dudes, like we talked about many podcasts ago, they more comfortable with gay shit, period. Gay
because
jokes.
they're more comfortable with themselves in general. Black people always got to have this facade.
So if you
know
see
that,
more gay black men, you want to make it a reason why.
Well,
They want black men to be gay because they want to stop our they want to stop our gene pool.
Well,
but
the thing about it is, a lot of black men, they come off. They got to be hard. That's the thing of being black. You got to be tough.
Another thing, to piggyback upon what I was just saying. Now you got all these rappers wearing dresses and purses and shit.
Skinny ass jeans.
I have to say that I'm pretty sure some other young kids that's impressionable or whatnot. We all followers. That's humans on some level. Some kids gonna see that shit and think that's hot.
Okay.
Not even understanding what it might mean. It
might
not mean nothing.
And I don't think that would make them want to have sex with a man because that's too total. That's fashion. That's fashion, and this is how you feel inside. But I want to
perception based.
People. I get what you said.
They think that's a target, and that's part of the agenda.
Well, listen. I want to basically come at the thought process on that. What you're saying, like, okay, it seemed to be a whole lot more gay people, yada yada yada, all of this stuff, and it seemed like it's being forced on us. When really the answer to that is it's being accepted.
Right.
So because it's being accepted, you're gonna see more people like that because now they don't have to hide in the closet and end up killing themselves because they can't because they can't be who they want to be. But the funny part about that is the same logic that you just used about that is the same logic that racist white people use against black people.
Thank you.
Saying that, saying that they feel like it's being forced on them, that black people are being forced on them, that interracial dating is being forced on them because they're seeing it more. They're having to deal with it more. So they feel like the agenda of America is turning towards like black people, black presidents, all these black athletes, Jay-Z, all of these motherfuckers. It's such a big thing now. They feel like it's being forced on them. So they feel like they're losing their power. They feel like they're losing their country. That's why you got Make America Great Again. That's why that tagline works and shit so well, because for the first time in this country, they're having to deal with that in their face all the time. So they feel attacked by it. I feel like straight people feel the same way about gay people because of acceptance. They feel attacked by gay people. Like, why is it all in my face now? Because, nigga, these motherfuckers been out here forever.
Right.
Now they feel like, okay, I won't get stoned so I can walk outside and hold my boyfriend's hand and shit. But I don't feel like it's being pushed on us. The people are just coming out the closet like, all right, y'all cool with it now? Because we just gave these motherfuckers the right to get married, what, 2 years ago? Think of how insane that is. It's 2017.
Exactly.
We just gave these individuals the right to get married 2 years ago. Like, how archaic is that?
That's crazy.
So now you see them coming out more like, all right, y'all ain't going to hurt me, right?
You said it, though. Power.
I got a question for Jerry.
The
the resident white guy, for those that's listening. Maybe it's because I'm black and I want to look at it from a different lens. It just made me think about something. So do you think now, how old are you in the range?
I'm 33.
Okay.
33.
So we're around the same age. So do you think that it's more blackness far as like in the world, on TV, like he was saying, like we see more gayness now. A lot of white people see a lot more blackness now. But to me,
like black is in.
So I'm black. So black always been in to me. Like I never known black not to be in
because
America.
Black and everybody around you is
but
black.
To me, hip hop always been popping. Black movies always been popping. Comedians and stuff. So I wonder, from a white guy, does it seem like blackness is being more accepted?
Keep it 100.
Keep it 100.
Well, I'm just trying to put it in perspective here.
Right.
Like I was born, I grew up first part of my life in Florida, where there's all kinds of different races. So
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I grew up
A lot of Mexicans out there.
Yeah, a lot of Mexicans, Hispanics, Puerto Ricans. I mean, so from a young age, I mean, I've seen it all regularly. I moved up here to Kentucky when I was 6.
Right.
I didn't see it as much. As a young child, it didn't really occur to me like, oh, wow, there's not a lot of other races up here. But since then, I've noticed like it more accepting, more in popular culture.
More with and I'm sure you probably see it a lot more with white women being more with black men, not more with black men than white women, but you just see interracial couples more than when you were a kid.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So these types of things, not to a person like him because he's securing himself, but somebody who feels threatened by something, they'll be like, what's up with all this black shit everywhere? You know, hip hop is the #1 genre of music now. That's a new thing. It wasn't like that when we were kids. Hip hop is the #1 genre of music right now. A black president, you got Jay-Z all over the place. Like, outside of the country, the face of America is black to other countries. You know, they look up to the Beyoncés, the Kobe Bryants, LeBron James. LeBron James is probably the most famous person from America in every other country, him and Kobe Bryant. So as a white man who's not used to seeing that all the time, then you could feel attacked by that. Like, what's this black agenda being pushed? Like, I feel like these motherfuckers popping out of everywhere type shit. And that's the way the straight people feel about gay people. Like, man, they pushing it on us. Because why? Because they letting them in commercials and shit. Like, goddamn, my nigga, they human beings. Gay people can't be in commercials and shit.
My problem
and people will see a gay person in a commercial and be like, I feel like the agenda pushing it. Like, no, my nigga, these are regular people. How come they can't be in commercials? Because the same shit was said about us. Like, why do you got all these black people in these commercials? What's up with all these interracial couples? They pushing that on us. Like, no, it's being accepted.
The way people even talk about it, they talk about it like it's aliens.
Right.
They say stuff like they or them.
These motherfuckers.
Like it's so like it's a whole different type of species or something. Like they human beings. They just made a choice to care about who they want.
But you got to forgive people from the time too. You know,
well,
it's like if we
talking
talking
people from the time. This is people from our
no. That's what I'm talking about from our generation. We we still wasn't necessarily raised right when it comes to being.
Still a way you can say stuff.
I know gay people that's not even 100% comfortable with the whole idea of gayness and kids being seeing gay stuff on TV, and they themselves are homosexual. Right. Well, so, and that's mostly because of the time and the era that they grew up in. And our parents probably step worse in their parents and so on and so forth.
That's how we approach
back.
We approach
just like the kids gonna be more accepting of it because they grew up with it always being in their faces.
My theory
so
about the kids, with people in the fear of kids becoming gay. Listen, this is the choice you get to make. If you make kids, you don't get to choose who they're going to be with. What you need to do, it's going to be what it's going to be. You can raise them in a heterosexual family or you can raise them in a gay family.
What we need to stop doing is pretending that we own our kids.
Right. Well,
like as a human being, as a species of a human being, you're just a mammal. You're a human being. You're a person, and you can give life to something. But you don't own that person.
Exactly.
That person's desires and personality and stuff will be based upon who they choose to be in
life.
And
that's what I was about to say.
It's not really up to you.
The only choice
this ain't a video game. It's not a creator player. Like this is a person outside of you.
Right. My thing for people with kids and worried about that is the only choice you get to choose is if they are going to be. You should prepare yourself for the worst. If you feel like that's the worst,
right?
What you should do is be ready to accept it, because if you ain't gonna accept it, you're gonna lose your kid, and it's pointless to even raise your kid if you're gonna not care about them because of who they choose sexual preferences. I don't give a shit. You can't control it. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and it's not about who you raise them with or what they're gonna be. You can be in a perfectly heterosexual home, and a kid. I would rather my kid come out to me and not feel like that they gotta hold it in, and then they have all these problems, and then they end up killing themselves or don't want me in their life.
Right.
Then for me
Listen,
to shame
if the world ain't gonna accept you, I'm gonna be the person to accept
Thank you.
And I want you to be able to accept yourself, and you know you could go from there. But if your creator, which is your parents, you know how I feel about God and everything. Your creator is your parents. If your creator don't even accept you, that does a lot to your psyche and how you feel about yourself and how you view yourself, and that something's wrong with you and you're not a normal person and things like that. But Leo, I got a question for you. I want to see how you feel about this. Somebody online, a friend of mine, Bo White, he said, fruit pops everywhere, but we need to keep making kids before us black folks be extinct. What do you think about that?
I don't even
because I've heard that a lot. You know, that's not a unique thought right there. I've heard that.
Let's keep it a buck. Like I understand sometimes when people say ignorant shit, you gotta translate what the fuck they mean.
Right, what they meant by that.
Because they not even smart enough to say what they mean.
I mean, I understand. I
understand the logic behind, or I shouldn't say that.
Don't understand how it's put out.
Oh, I understand where that feeling come from.
You know the underlying, the underlying what he really means.
Yeah, that's a survival statement.
Exactly.
And you know what? I hear certain Southern, racist white men say the same shit. Right. You know, and all it's about is survival.
Self-preservation.
You afraid? What you saying is you scared. And you may have reasons to be scared from, whatever historical shit, right? So that make you think that you got to be a hater of somebody else in order to progress.
But you know how hypocritical it is to be a black man and speak hatred towards somebody else, and then when it's happening towards you, you want to.
Everybody feel different when they different. Everybody feel different when they doing it. It's like texting and driving.
We just got the foot off our neck long ago, and we jump up off the pavement from getting our ass whooped for 300 years, and now we jumping in the fight on the other motherfucker side who was just whooping our ass, and now we looking at these people like, hey, y'all ain't good enough now. It's kind of like with the whole idea of how, the way this country came to be and shit. At first it was just regular white colonial people. These were the only white people. But then as more people started coming into America, you got the Irish, you got the Italians, you got all these people. They were treated pretty shitty too. They weren't treated like slaves, but they were treated shitty. But the more of them came in, the more of the white colonial people, they start becoming the minimum. So what they started doing was accepting the Italians in as white. They started accepting the Irish in as white, so we can all be white. And those people who were treated shitty, when they got the chance to be white, then they start shitting on everybody else.
Right.
Like, y'all motherfuckers ain't nothing. Y'all black people, yada, 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 because now you get to be a part of the accepted.
Right.
That's kind of what black people are doing now. Like, we just got the foot off of our neck. Our ancestors were beat, raped, yada, yada, yada. And this is not going to turn into a slave conversation because that's not what this is. But now that we are free to be out here doing and saying what the fuck we want, now we doing the same thing to gay people.
Right.
Like, oh, man, how we gonna reproduce? Like, my nigga, I understand what you're saying, but it's about 8 billion people on the planet, my nigga.
If your
we are growing at a rate that's almost dangerous, like as far as human beings go. This shit ain't slowing down, my nigga. It's insane. We done did about 3 billion people in like the last 50 to 100 years. That's an insane amount of growth. Even more so, way more so back in the day. So if the fear is that gay people is going to cause people to stop being born, that's just nonsense. Because
hold on,
facts will prove that that's not the case.
Somebody on your page just said this is a form of genocide. Are you kidding?
But that goes back to what I'm saying.
Are you kidding me? Like,
it's 8 billion people on the fucking planet. Like how?
Okay, can we name some acts of genocide real quick? Just name.
We can name some acts of attempted genocide.
What's the worst genocide we can say?
I would say Native Americans. The motherfuckers ain't around no more. Like you lucky. They like unicorns. If you see an actual native, if you see an actual indigenous person to this country, you like, God damn, was that an Indian? And this was they shit.
Are we really gonna go so far to say two people of the same sex being together is a form of genocide?
That's a matter of not understanding.
Straight genocide.
That's a regurgitated statement.
Exactly.
That's all it is, man.
Right, because listen, there's no logic or there's no even a definition behind that, because that's not the definition of genocide.
That's propaganda.
I know.
Right. That's all that is.
Is gayness that scary? And I'm as straight as they come. But the fact that I'm so adamant about it, you know, people think, oh, he might be on it. No, I just believe in people being happy. Like, be fair. Like, you cannot want to have your own. Like, people forget. Do you know what it's like to want to be with somebody you care about? Now, have somebody be so against it, and you're like, why somebody so against my happiness? That's exactly what we're doing. It's none of our business, and we're telling people they're not allowed to be happy. Like, it makes no sense, and then we're trying to find reasons why they're like, it's some. I just
don't think he understand what genocide means.
That was a woman who said that.
Oh well.
See, a lot of times people get caught up in their own feelings and stuff like that. And once again, the propaganda. Sometimes we gotta forgive people for being brainwashed. Like we forget how thoroughly brainwashed people are.
YouTube,
like,
motherfucker.
It ain't even YouTube. This shit has happened well before that shit, man.
And Bo says we killing each other. Blacks in jail and gay at this time is at an all-time high right now. Blacks need to get it together. What that guy? Who told people to come killing each other? I think that's more of an issue than gay people. Like, people are killing each other. Try to get people to stop killing each other. Nobody's telling people to take actions to kill each other and get each other in jail. Why are we throwing gayness into the equation of black people doing stuff to each other? Like, stop killing each other. How about black people just stop killing each other over useless bullshit?
Hold on. First of all, humans are never going to stop killing each other. So let's get that out the way. That's not even something to be talked about. Since the beginning of the time, this is what we do. We kill each other. Crime is a tool of proximity. Black people kill each other more, and white people kill each other more. Asians kill each other more. Latin people kill each other more, because murder and crime is a tool of proximity. Exactly. Black people ain't going all the way to the white neighborhood to start killing all the white people, and white people aren't going to the black neighborhood to start killing black people. White people kill each other way more than black people kill white people. Black people kill black people way more than white people kill black people, because it's a tool of proximity, and we will never stop killing each other. So you could just leave that alone.
See, what it is people, they like to, it's easy to hate on different things because you can put something in one little pocket. You know, just like, for example, you were saying that black people may kill black people more than another race kill black people, but it's the same way for every race of people. But somebody will take that one statement there alone and create the black on black narrative. Exactly. So it's no different than somebody saying our race need to survive, and only way for our race to survive is to keep reproducing, and gay people can't reproduce, so let's hate on that.
And gay produce, and by the way, gay people can and do reproduce.
That don't stop them from being able to put that in that pocket.
Exactly.
For that moment.
Act like that our race is just dying off, and gayness is a big
See, it's census. Census got niggas fucked up. They keep seeing this 13% or whatever, and they think like, oh, in the world it's 13%. You know who really worried about this type of shit?
Europeans.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of white people, rich white people, scientists and shit, eugenics and people like that, they're studying right now and trying to create ways scientifically to make the white race reproduce faster or whatever, because the minority people of this nation are the majority in the world as far as people of color. So I understand where that logic would come from. The problem is when you mix fear in with logic, that shit can go astray. Just like anything else, fear is the #1 thing that fuck us up in every single way, like regardless what we talking about. And this is no different.
I know the equal to that equation. Fear mixed with logic is ignorance. That's the equal.
Yes, that's true.
That's
very true.
And
that's where we at with this.
I mean, no matter how intelligent you are, sometimes when we mix those two, it comes off ignorant.
It started from a true point. It's always a true factual point somewhere,
and then it gets twisted
and then,
into something else. Because I mean, I don't want to stay on this topic too long, but it does coincide with the gay stuff and the genocide and how I don't know how, but the human race is gonna cease to exist because of gay people getting busy out here, because gay people have been getting busy out here since the beginning of time. But that whole idea that you were saying, Leo, is that somebody saw a statistic that said black crime is up, black people are killing each other, yada yada yada. So somebody who wants to twist that narrative and say they'll create this whole black on black origin thing, like blacks, what's up with this? Have you ever heard of white on white crime? Of course not. Have you ever heard of Mexican on Mexican crime? Of course not. Asian on Asian crime. But all of these races kill each other more often than any other race kills them. But for some reason, the whole idea in America is that black people have an issue with killing each other.
Right. It ain't some reason. It's the same exact reason I mentioned a while ago. Everybody need to feel, not everybody, but most people feel the need to be better than the next man. So I can have all this. We
kill each other, but y'all be doing that shit more.
I can have 700 reasons why you better than me, but if I got 3 reasons why I'm better than you, all I'm focused on is them 3 reasons, and that's all you're gonna hear about throughout this whole motherfucking argument.
Right. That is true.
And those 3 things may be true, but that don't make your 700 things untrue neither. But I ain't focused on that. All I know is that gay people can't reproduce, and I don't like gay people because somebody told me not to. And it's that simple. Like,
but what do y'all think about this idea that gayness bothers people because they may have something inside of themselves?
I believe so.
That makes them uncomfortable about something. Because if you notice, a pretty good trend is that a lot of, like, say, big preachers and different shit like that, people who really speak out on gayness, like, they're like champion and shit, like it's bad, it's wrong. Next thing you know, you find out he fucking men in hotels.
Not
and
even
shit
men,
like
they
that.
be fucking little boys.
It's like almost seeing gay makes them think that their inner ideas and their inner feelings are going to come out if they see it and shit. Because as a totally straight man, I don't have nothing against gay people. I'm just simply not attracted to men. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If I was attracted to men, I would say that. But I have no attraction to men. So as a straight man, it doesn't bother me in the least bit. Like, it's hella bitches out here. Men taking less bitches away from me is always a positive thing. That ain't nothing that I want to be fucking whining about. But as a straight man, I don't think that you would ever be so invested in what another man is doing in his bed, unless it makes you feel some kind of way. What do y'all think about that?
It's like what we was talking about.
Because why do you care? Like what? It's more bitches for you. What you whining about?
It's like what we was talking about yesterday. It's almost like when you hate something so much or so adamant, you kind of like give it. Hate is better than love. Like it's stronger. Like when you so adamant about something and you
like,
so
nigga, this shit hit home somewhere, don't it?
Why does it bother you that much? Is there something inside of you? Like I don't care. That's why I'm able to talk about it and not get mad, because it doesn't bother me. Like, 2 gay people walking down the street is no different from a man and a woman walking down the street to me. I don't pay it no goddamn man. I don't care. It don't pertain to my fucking life.
The problem is it'd be hard to tell the difference, like, because once again, no, I'm just saying, if you just trying to like
just analyze it.
People
I mean,
like
we all see stuff like. You mean like?
No, not far as them being gay or not. I'm saying far as like people. Some people may go hard against gayness because they had the indoctrination that they should hate gayness. Then you got other people that's
religion does
probably
that.
Secretly gay inside, and due to the level of shame or whatever, they feel like they need to like go over the top with the hate. And that's the preacher type politician people we talking about that create laws and shit against it. And
when you got biblical doctrine, or what we take to be biblical doctrine, which is the Bible, and in the Bible there are, I believe it's the Old Testament. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something in there about somebody being gay, cut their throat or some shit like that. Cut his throat in front of me. A man lay with a man. I'm not sure which verse it is. I'll post it on our social media link once I get off of that. But when you have doctrine that says shit like that, then you feel like it's your life's goal to champion against this type of shit. But what I find funny about that is we only do that with certain things.
Yeah, we do.
You know, we don't do like the same goddamn Bible.
Tell you not to eat too much.
Condone slavery.
No,
the same Bible will tell a woman that some old dumb shit like, okay, if a woman is raped, if you rape a woman and you're found out, if somebody sees you as a man raping a woman, you got to go to her father and ask for her hand in marriage, and now you got to be with her if you rape her. Yeah. That's just nonsense. So we'll act like we don't see any of that shit, but we'll be like, well, the Bible says it's wrong.
You ain't supposed to get drunk.
The Bible says it's wrong.
So you ain't even supposed
the Bible
to
say a whole lot of shit wrong.
Gluttony, lust. I mean, we could just name the 7 deadliest sins. I mean,
man, it ain't even that. Look, my nigga, it gets so ignorant. It's like if you're wearing polyester and cotton at the same time, it's an abomination. Like that's how ignorant this shit gets. It's just nonsense. If you eat shrimp, if you eat clams, that's an abomination. Like the shit is so ignorant at times, but people they stay on the gay part.
But you also forget how thorough. You forget how thoroughly the brainwashing is, though. This how thorough it is. I don't even believe the shit right no more, but I was taught to believe it, even though I know the shit not real.
Right.
Here and there, I still catch myself.
Yeah.
Like.
Because it's in your brain. It's like it's been a part of you for so long. You smart enough to understand that it's not real, but a part of your brain is still exactly like, hey,
what are you doing?
I'm smarter than this.
You praying and shit? Like, who you praying to right now? Like I don't even know. Right, exactly. I'm thinking. Prayer is really thinking, you know. But to backtrack a little bit, because I don't think we answered the original question.
Parenting.
Was you had said that why do people have problems with men versus women kind of doing it? And I think that's just with gayness or sex. People look at men as more predatory because we're more aggressive. And on some levels, that is true. Right. Because men rape more, you know, and shit like that.
We ain't gonna deny that men are like when it comes men are creeps.
So they think that if men are more creeps than women, at least openly, then they would think that men would be more aggressive as they're doing something to a child.
Well, they do that. But that's the thing. That's the same theory with parenting. When a man and a woman split up, automatically they assume the woman's the better parent. So
all right, I got a question. Do you think that men molest children more than women do?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest about that.
Just period.
I'm gonna be honest about that. I don't think so. But I think because women they're not watched with it. Right. Like, just think about it. All right, if you got to go out somewhere, right? You and your woman going out somewhere, and y'all need a babysitter. And you have a 30-year-old man who can watch your kids, or you got a 30-year-old woman. Right. You ain't even gonna think twice about the woman. You ain't even gonna think twice about it. You're gonna like throw your kids in her house, like, oh no, she a woman, she's a nurturer, yada yada yada. Right. Women are just as screwed up in the brain as men are. All of our brains work exactly the same. Our genitals don't have anything to do with this type of screwed up shit that we could be into.
The hormonal level, though, do contribute to how you think, though. So I wouldn't say it's exactly the same. With us having way more testosterone, obviously that's what.
Well, way more testosterone
that contributes to you being more aggressive.
But that don't make you a child molester either.
But it make you more likely to act on it if you have those thoughts, though.
Let's see what Leo's saying.
You know what I mean? It's like the level of the testosterone give you that extra boost sometimes to do crazy shit. That's why dudes do dumb shit when it come like extreme sporting and stuff like that. I think the difference is that, like you were saying, women have more opportunity to do it. If I think men had the same level of opportunity to be around children that women do, then I think men would be killing women on the scale of who molest more and shit like that. But I think that since women are exposed to children more, it might actually be at a similar percentage.
The way that men are found out with doing this stuff is just it's big, it's verbose. It's like a man was in the park with his dick out.
Look at it. He's that desperate with
exactly.
It.
He got to really jump out the window to get this freaky shit popping. You know what I'm saying? But with women, they have kids, and they're around them all the time, and they're never thought of as that type of person. They get to watch people, kids, and all type of shit. So they don't have to jump out the window and do crazy shit. You don't hear about some woman at the park swinging her titties around and shit at kids because she got them in her house. Because all she got to do is become a babysitter. You as a 32-year-old man, you can't become a babysitter. You can't put out a fucking thing on Facebook and be like, hey, I'm watching kids for the night. If y'all want to go out. Like women do.
But I see them do that shit all the time, though.
But you could be dropping your kid off right to a predator, but you don't even think about it because she's a woman. And so she's, women aren't detected because nobody's looking at them to be doing it.
Even if your child was molested by a female, just like a teacher at school or something like that, you ain't even going to look at him as much of a victim. And and it's crazy, he might not even look at himself as much of a victim.
Right, because she playing with his genitals and stuff like that. He believes a woman to be a nurturer. He thinks she might just be trying to help him or something. Like she's like, my mom touches me there or whatever if she's like cleaning me or because women are nurturers, we don't look at them doing stuff
right,
like
you don't
that.
Even, you don't even put that level of paranoia in your son as if you would with your daughter, because ever since she around anybody else other than you and the mother, you constantly is telling her and stuff like somebody touch you and all that, this, that, and the third, which is great things to do, but many people don't do that with
Well, just think about this question. Like, did he touch you in your private area? That's something that's like super big with men, because a man shouldn't be touching a kid there. But that question never goes to women. Right. Because a lot of times women do touch you there, because if they're like cleaning you and different stuff like that. So that's not even a question that's even asked to women, because that's common for them to be doing that, because naturally they're nurtured. But if, you know, I always say, like,
I was seeing if he was wet, and you would be like, okay,
exactly, right, that makes sense and shit. But if a dude did it, you like, what? Nigga, for what reason? Would you
Exactly.
You're right. So once again, us knowing that men are more aggressive, and we obviously just spoke on that, and now it's proven. I don't care what nobody say. Just taking that alone, and you not liking gay people alone, that's enough right there to say that you never want a gay man to adopt a kid.
Yeah, because when we think about
that's all it takes.
When we think about gay couples raising kids, what we thinking about is
gay
two men raising kids. I don't really believe anybody has an issue with two women raising kids.
Mostly women do. Most men don't. At least most American men or Western men or whatever.
Care nothing about two women being together.
Only like Middle Eastern dudes seem to have that logic to be against women homosexuality at the same level.
And when you find a guy who's so against two women, you'd be like, "What's wrong with you, man? Chill out." And I ain't even thinking on no sexual level. Like, even if you think about two women raising a kid, I mean, that's a double plus. You think about it.
Yeah, that's what you think about, because they're like nurturers. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You got two nurturers and shit.
Double the love.
Yeah, but with me and you, like, you got two predators in the house.
Yeah, like they
like
just adopting
I've seen somebody say that the whole gay thing is all about child molestation. Like the whole gay thing. Like, like the last final form of gayness is child molestation. Like a video,
evolve.
Yeah, like a video game.
Right. Shit, ultimate gay. Like what?
Like when a gay person reaches his final evolution, it's
time to
child molestation.
And child molestation, it's so crazy.
I wanted to ask you guys a question here, going off what Leo said. Leo, you said that men are more likely to do it because of higher testosterone levels. Do you think that gay men have the same testosterone levels as like a straight man, or do you think there might be an imbalance? Could that be kind of why they're gay? They don't have as much testosterone. They ain't got that drive.
Good question.
I would say sometimes, but the only reason I would say no is because sometimes I've seen, like, you know, like on documentaries, like on MTV and shit like that, they used to show like the true life and all that type of stuff. You would have like males that's transitioning. They'll be taking like on like hormone replacement shit to make them physically a woman, make their titties naturally grow, and so they don't got to take or get surgery or whatever the case may be. And they still are gay, and they still are themselves in many ways. I've seen some gay dudes that appear to be feminine but still be aggressive. So, you know, like, once again, it's women that I know are clearly women.
Aggressive sexually? Or like
no, I'm just talking about just like in everyday action, movement, speech, body language, just in every way. And also see like big muscular ass gay dudes too that don't seem to be like more
dominant,
aggressive sexually, and they like all in the gym and shit. So I'm pretty sure these motherfuckers' testosterone level is high as fuck, and he ain't out here like extra like rapey with me and shit. So it's hard to really tell. I don't really know. So
I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah, I don't really know
It's
on that
hard
one.
to generalize.
It's a good question though.
I don't know, man. I think I do agree that it's 100% more. I ain't gonna say 100%, but it's more geared towards the men thing than the women thing. People don't really have a problem with women being with women.
Women being gay is more socially acceptable.
It is. Yeah. Even now. It
way more. It ain't even close. It's ridiculous.
Even if it's like a woman with a girl that's taking on the male role, and you kind of like, okay, is that a girl and a boy?
Like, it's so socially acceptable that women who aren't gay pretend to be gay to get attention.
That's crazy.
You don't have no men pretending to be gay to get attention.
Lure you in.
Exactly.
Shit,
like, but women do that. she'll be 100% straight and just start kissing women and eating pussy and shit just because it's gonna get her positive attention
and
for
she
doing
can truly
it.
say I ain't gay. Like I like dudes.
Right, but can't no dude do that. Nigga can't be like, yeah, I mean, in the past I sucked some dicks. You know what I'm saying? No big deal. It was a time and I got over it. That's not a thing for men.
You gay?
But
But
once again, y'all wouldn't consider her as being gay, would y'all?
No, she's just a woman. She's just a regular woman. There's no title for women. Women
she doing gay acts.
It doesn't matter. Women can do
right. Men don't do gay acts.
Listen,
if you do
just
it,
gay,
you're gay.
motherfucker.
the word
Exactly.
bisexual was created for women, not men. Men aren't. I mean, men can have sex with women, and the moment he have sex with a guy,
he gay forever.
He's gay.
Gay.
I mean, you can say you bisexual, but people are gonna say the moment.
Even
it's
us.
It's just how we program. It's like the moment you put a dick in your ass, put a dick in your mouth, vice versa, whatever, and you a man, you're considered gay. You can say you bisexual. You can go fuck a woman the next day.
Nobody trying to hear that.
You can go run down 500 women and fuck one guy. It doesn't matter.
Nobody trying to hear
people
that.
like you just covering up.
But
bro.
what
really
about Jamal though?
That's all that's gonna matter. That's all that's gonna matter. They're gonna keep going back to that one guy. Like, yeah, dude, that's cool, but you still gay, bro. Like you fuck. You can't say you going through a phase.
Well, I mean, what I would like to happen is I would like for gay to not be synonymous with a bad thing.
Right.
Like, why is it? I just don't want it to. Like,
why
is it a bad
work.
thing? It don't. It don't got nothing to do with you. It's them choosing to love the same gender, and they're not hurting anybody. They're like, as long as like kids, animals, and shit ain't being hurt, I could really care less what happens.
Like, we gotta once again, we gotta forgive people for the time they in. Like, if I run across a white person that was expressing somewhat racist views and they wasn't being aggressive to me, and they also was like old as hell, I would be way more understanding, because I'm like, all right, okay, from ever since you was a child, I know people have been putting this shit in your mind that it's okay for you to think this way. Even if now in the past, whatever, let's say since Obama, like, cause that's like the benchmark for a lot of people. Like, oh my God, like, I didn't know.
Right.
Like, Obama showed me.
I know what you're about to say. Like, somebody from an older generation, you more willing to accept it. This is how I feel. I am not going to give anybody's ignorance. Like, even if it's somebody our age. There you go.
Speak your truth.
I'm just saying, like, because at this point in their age, even if it's somebody our age, like, I'm not gonna even I mean, if you that ignorant to still let these views, whether you old or young, I mean, we are more subjective to let an older person because that's how they was raised. People nowadays, this our age, just still doing this shit. You just ignorant. I'm not even gonna give you the energy.
Check this out. Check this out. This is what you mean. And I got something from somebody, but what you mean is we can accept ignorance from old people. Because when they needed to learn a fact or something, they had to go to the goddamn Encyclopedia Britannica in order to understand something. I could literally, like, information is at my fingertips at any time. There's no reason to be ignorant. You can find out anything. If you're ignorant in today's age, you want to be ignorant.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Like, you're okay with that. You're content with being ignorant because you can find out the answers to these things. You just don't give a fuck.
But you can know something and not know it.
It's still how you react. Like, you
check this out. What do y'all think about this? All right, boss lady, she said, I don't accept that you are born gay or you had been touched is the reason. My question is, how does a guy become gay? And
she don't accept any reason?
No, exactly.
So you can't
hold up. Basically, she said you're not born gay, and she don't believe you could be turned gay, but yet there are millions of gay people. What you got to do, what you got to understand, boss lady, I understand that this might be religious for you, and this might be attacking your religious beliefs, or you just hard-headed and you don't want to believe. But fuck humanity, right? Just go to just animals in nature. Homosexuality occurs in nature amongst 1,500 different species. You can go look that up. And I know we got these awesome fucking brains and shit, and we think like we're really goddamn smart and everything, but at the end of the day, we're just animals. We're mammals too. And homosexuality has occurred in human beings since the beginning of time. It happens to us because it's natural. People are born gay. You know, traumatic things in life can also lead you to go down that path.
Right.
But it's a thing. It's not something we made up. It's not something that just came out. It's always been around. It's in all other animals, dogs, fucking lions, cats, all different types of shit. It's a thing.
Right. This is how I break it down to everybody who's so adamant about it. I hope none of you people have kids. Because if you this adamant, because your kids are human beings and you can't control it. If you feel this way, you better, I mean, you cannot control who your kid is going to like. If you feel this way, I hope you don't have kids, because if you do have kids, if your kid says they're gay, I question you on how you're going to react. Because if you're going to react, either you're going to, from the way how adamant they are, you look like you're going to just dismiss them. If not, you're gonna have to accept it, which means you can't make a sidebar where I accept my kid being gay, but I feel the rest of the world I don't want to deal with.
I think she in the worst place. She don't even want to have the conversation.
Right,
regardless
exactly.
if you agree or
Again,
disagree. You don't even acknowledge that it exists.
Again, that's when you got to start
Look,
logic and fear.
What it come down to, and I want to be honest.
True.
I want to be honest about this. At one point, I was a religious person. My grandmother used to make me go to church. My grandparents are from the South, the deep South. You know what I'm saying? I was raised, half of my childhood was with my grandparents, and they made us go to church on Sundays, and I had a Bible, and I used to read the Bible, and I believed in Jesus, and I believed in all that bullshit. But then I fucking grew up, and I started studying and stuff, and I started researching and shit, and then I started looking at history, and I started looking at other species on the planet. Don't lie to yourself just so you can hold on to some form of pride that you have. If you can look in history and you can look in other species and see that this is a normal thing, that this is a natural thing amongst most life on the planet, then you have to accept it. You can't still be running around here saying shit like, well, I don't think it happens that way. Well, I mean, history and all of life on planet tells you it happens exactly that way.
Right.
And if you're still willing to look facts in the face and still say, nope, I don't want to believe it, like Leo said, that's not even a conversation to be had then, because we don't have an underlining platform that we can even start on to have the conversation, because you don't believe what you see, every day in your life. Right. You see dogs and shit doing it. You think they got some kind of agenda or some shit like that? They ain't got no fucking agenda.
They say seeing is believing.
It's not, though.
If you can't...
People pride is so high, they'll look a fact in the face and be like, nope, I don't want to believe it.
I mean, I used to be one of those people when I was young, like thinking that... like gay people wasn't born gay. Like I used to think that too when I was younger, but obviously that's not the case. Now I might question the percentage of people that were born gay,
and that's a conversation,
or something like that, versus people that maybe was made gay through other reasons.
Right.
But you may have people that were that way, that were probably gonna be gay or were always gay and still were molested.
Right.
What about that too? That's also, it's so much shit that you got to factor in, and you can't go backtrack and dictate every step of somebody's life, because they don't even know when they had this original thought or whatever to start feeling that way.
That's why I say, I look at gayness no different from us. Like you, at a certain age, you see a girl, is a guy, I like her. How is it not possible that at a certain age, same age as you, someone can look at a girl, be a girl, and be like, I like her?
Hold up, nigga.
How come that's not possible?
It's what you saying is, at some point in your life, you didn't come to a fork in the road and decide to be straight? Of course not. That's not a fucking thing. Nobody does that. I never decided to be straight one day.
Right.
I was just attracted to women,
like
and I was not attracted to men.
That's
like
what I'm trying
no
to
gay, no reg. Like there's not like a certain age, like a video game. Like, oh, when you reach level 10, then you get to decide which way you go. It don't work that way. You are just interested. I was never sexually attracted to men. Not because I thought it was bad, but because I just was not sexually attracted to men.
But you can. I do believe that you can become attracted to something that you once wasn't.
We're not saying you can't, but
porn proves that.
Right, because you said at a fork in the road. Your fork in the road might not be at 4 or 14. It might be at 40.
But the point is, it's never a decision, though. You're not like, do I want to be straight or do I want to be gay? Like, if you like men, that's natural. Right. You like men.
Only way I would believe that all of a sudden you just start having this original thought, like on some, well, obviously Bruce Jenner said he'd been thinking that way. But let's say, like, it's some people that be like, oh, I'm just now realizing that I like this or I want to be that. That does happen. Right. Like sometimes it'd be like you had like a spiritual awakening, you know what I'm saying? Or you got trippy. You know what I'm saying, with some LSD or something, like something, you either had some Zen or some sin. You know what I'm saying? Like, you either had some Zen or some sin that helped change your mind. You just didn't wake up Friday and nothing was different at all, and now you just like...
Porn is a great indicator that your mind can be changed about things that you like. Just think about it, like, as a child, titties would have me super...
Or just look at...
Titties that have me rocked up, I'm ready to go after seeing some titties. But then you get deeper into porn, and now you need to see some pussy. Now you need to see some sex. Now you need to see some, some like creamy vagina.
Look at groceries. Like, people eating butt, they never...
They've been doing that, man.
No, but what I'm saying, the promotion of
They've been looking at.
I mean,
but it's more accepted though.
That's because motherfuckers ain't acting stupid. Like if you, that's on you. I mean,
look at groceries.
If motherfuckers still,
nowhere,
right? You stuck on that groceries.
No, I'm just saying.
I thought you were talking about real
Nah,
groceries.
Leo ain't never talk about real groceries. She talk about it cheap. But I mean, it's one of those type of things. Like you said, a song made that okay.
Right.
But I mean, you gotta just like he said about people being gay. It's been happening. All of like we talked about this before. All these women ain't talking about getting their ass ate, and all these dudes saying they ain't doing it. No, that's not end up. They ain't just saying it just to be saying it. It's been happening. It's just more people just finally accepting it.
Man, I've been licking ass since I was 17.
I mean, seriously, like, and I mean, I feel like, shoot, we already talked about that sexually, man. If you ain't trying to please no woman, and if a woman's stupid enough to try to clown you for it, then that's on her. That's your loss, bitch. Hey, I mean, what's the difference? If her pussy clean, her ass should be clean, right? They right next to each other. I mean, but I don't know, man. It's a good example, but
true.
Yeah, it's all about social acceptance, I guess. People feel ashamed about certain things,
so you know what are the last part I want to go with this is that now some people do believe, and I understand, once again, that's my problem, I understand shit that I don't even agree with, or I understand why that person may.
Well, that makes you an intelligent person though, because you're not ruling your thoughts based on your own individual.
That's why you on the panel and we able to do this, because most people just ignorant.
So where I'm going at it is some people, I'm pretty sure y'all heard this too. So what's next? So we just gonna be accepting, and don't lie, I have seen where some certain child molester motherfuckers is trying to make it okay for them to be Chesters and shit legally. Like, this has been going on for a long time too, like you saying throughout history or whatever, like these prominent people that we was talking about, certain religious people. You can look at certain art and then have like naked kids right by the dude,
but see,
genitals and shit.
That's why we gotta
so
be
like
intelligent.
So once again though, but some people think being in liking gayness is intelligent.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Unintelligent.
Like,
you know what
that's
I mean?
a good example that you say. They say, "What's next? Are we gonna allow Chesters?" Like, if you putting Chesters next to gay people, you're ignorant. Like, that's not even like it's the fact that they put gayness next to genocide or murder. Like, I know.
But what about to a devout Christian or a devout Muslim or somebody like that? They might not agree with you.
But it's hard for me to even talk about these types of topics.
Absolutely.
It's hard to talk about these types of topics with people who don't have a historical context to even that. Like age things. The age thing, that's a new thing as well. Just like the homosexual, like, oh, that's bad. That's a new thing. You know what I'm saying? Like she said, that just got in the Bible in 1946 and shit. And this age thing is a new thing. While I fully agree that no child should be touched until age 18, that's a new idea. Just in this country alone, what, 30, 40 years ago, there were fucking 12, 13-year-olds getting married to 40-year-olds. That's a thing. So you got to have historical context behind all of this stuff. And the whole age thing is a new idea in this country, just like the whole gay thing is a new idea all over the world.
But the way I could kill arguments
because this whole we get trapped in this American thing. Like every country ain't like this. Like my homie, he from London. He said the age of consent there like 13, 14 or some shit like that.
Believe it or not, in certain states here is that way. You can get married at 16 to a motherfucker that's whatever age if your parents signed permission waivers and shit. Like
that's right. So in order to have a conversation, it got to be in the correct context of these types of things. You got to use
logic. That's why I say, like, if somebody want to compare two gay people to a child molester or a murderer, this is the easy way you can do it. When has two gay people been put in jail for being gay?
Exactly.
If you're a child molester, you're going to jail for
being gay.
Right. Yes. That's why it's not a crime.
Not in America. We're talking about in America, right?
No, that's what we talk about. Just in general,
in Africa, they'll burn your ass to
But what I'm saying, I'm just saying why people try to group it. Well, I'm saying why people try to group it and say what's next. When they say what's next, it's illegal to be a child molester. If genocide is things that, I mean, people say it's population control and there's different forms of population control, but we know the general consensus of genocide is just mass.
All right, I agree with most of the things you're saying. Let me just clean up something for some people out there. Just because some shit is legal or illegal don't make it morally right or wrong, because at one time it might be illegal. It might be legal for Jerry to string us up.
Two people.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying, don't group something that's
where's my rights?
There's nothing in two gay people or two people caring about each other that even needs to be grouped with those type of things. They're two different, like the extremes that we put that in that same box.
The same.
Because there's no crime in it.
The same argument was made for black people.
Exactly.
Listen,
that's what makes me mad.
Whenever you hear some outrageous shit about gay people, just allow your mind to go back to. They said that about black people too. Like, how far are we gonna let this go? We gonna let them get married and own property?
You know
how far is this gonna go?
But honestly, you know why?
This whole releasing them thing. How far is this gonna go? Are we gonna let them get jobs?
See, that if I was somebody like the person that I am, if I disagree with us when it comes to this gay thing and all that, I would easily dismiss that comment about the black thing or whatever because I'm deep in the history and I realize black history is much longer than 400 years. So
yeah, right, nigga.
So a motherfucker,
we started at slavery.
No, just shut the fuck up, man. So motherfuckers will easily dismiss that and just keep their same negative, you know, viewpoint or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you disagree and you want to disagree, you would dismiss
everything.
God,
anything.
the God, or whoever that is.
You just say your boss lady just totally dismissed everything about gay. She said you can't be born gay or be taught gay. Right. So what? How are all these gay people existing?
I'm still curious to know that.
Ain't nothing wrong with disagreeing, but it's how far you gonna go. Like, I mean, you're allowed to have an opinion, but I think the opinion goes so far. And when your opinion gets to a point where you want to disrupt other people's happiness, and you so adamant about it, where you want to vote against people being happy, then it's hatred. It's hatred. It ain't even fucking an opinion.
Well, it's hypocritical, is what it is, because you want your thoughts and the way that you see the world to be able to dictate other people's happiness, but you don't like when other people are doing it to you or were doing it to you and your ancestors. It's just hypocritical. It's like, well, no, let's do this shit to them. Let's fuck with them, but I mean, don't fuck with me.
And we got to keep speaking on stuff like this because that's why I love the podcast. You know, some people may be uncomfortable with the conversation, but it always is about promoting positivity and making people more accepting to other views. Like, look at Libya. Or I don't even know, like, whatever. They over there selling people
terrible,
again.
Man.
Like, you know, how the fuck do we get back to this point so soon and shit? You know, maybe not here in America where it was still fresh. And that's why I think it's healthy for certain people be uncomfortable with us talking about slavery and this, that, and the third. But if you don't remind people of the atrocities that other humans do to you or have done, then we bound to repeat that shit.
You know, that's why sometimes it's fucked up as it sound.
You gotta shame people away from shaming people.
But what I'm saying is, man, as Americans, man, we so goddamn privileged. Sometimes I be wanting us to go through some shit so we can actually see how lucky we
got too many goddamn rights over here. Motherfuckers can say and do whatever the fuck they want to do.
We got so many rights now that we starting to want to dictate other people's lives.
Let me before I forget this, because I forgot to say this multiple times. This is a black people statement, but a general statement too for gay people, whatever subgenre, subsection you want to put yourself in. You know how like we be taught like as like black people that we gotta like wake up everybody, like we gotta wake up the masses in order to like change something.
Stay woke.
But it's only like 1% of people that's like running everybody.
Exactly.
So if you just wake up 1% or 2% of the right people, then you can make real change in the world. You know, and even like musically, and I was thinking this way too, like creatively, because a lot of times like I second guess something that I might want to do. Like we were talking about books, because you got the novel coming out. Oh, and it might not be this or it might not be that. So you might scrap the whole idea instead of focusing on the people that you might actually reach.
Right.
You know, the people that you might change. So a lot of time, especially like to the gay people out there, you know, don't be trying to kill yourself and hurt yourself or whatever, people not accepting you and shit, because it's people that do accept you. We always care about the people that hate on us. Like I see celebrities talk about this. They have 3,000 lovely comments, but it's 2 motherfuckers hating.
These motherfuckers hating on me.
And that's the 2 things that's killing them throughout their day.
Yeah. Right.
You know, so just focus on the positivity and all that, because that'll outweigh the bad. And once again, it's 1% of motherfuckers that's running the whole world and got us other 99% of people fucked up,
arguing, fighting with each other, killing each other, judging each other and shit like that. And meanwhile, they just making all the money off of it and laughing at our goofy asses. And on that note, we gonna get the fuck out of here before we do another hour and shit. What we need y'all to do though is go to kyhbb.com. That's the website. You could see all of our shows on there, and they also got some other super dope podcasts on there. If you are a podcast type person, you definitely want to go to that website and check out the other shows. Our producer Jerry has a super dope popular show on there, so you want to check that out if you get a chance to.
Also, we on Stitcher, we on iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can look us up individually. Well, some of us not deep into social media, but Sleep the Fraternity is all over Facebook. He on Instagram. You can find me, Leo Bishop. Chris kind of incognito. He'll find you.
I'm an introvert.
He'll find you.
I don't do Facebook like that. Sorry.
You know, Jerry Saylor, he out there. You can find him online. You can find him at the website, like we said. You can also look up his podcast, Kentucky Hot Brown Boys. And that's what the KYHBB stand for, if you ever wondered. So, yeah, just hit us up. We'll be back with another lovely topic. And, you know, it's the shit I shouldn't say.
We out.
Shit.
That's pretty good, though.
I agree.
We bodied that shit.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think I offended no.